Hi guys, this is a review of the Pioneer Elite F-91 FM tuner, FM AM tuner actually. Now back in the 1980s, Pioneer came out with a series of components called Elite. And what this was their shot at building some really high quality, high-end equipment and not really building at the price, but building pretty much the best equipment they could in the particular categories that they were working in. The way I got this tuner was I walked into one of my local hi-fi places, I believe it was in 1995, and they had a set of Pioneer Elite components on sale. Apparently they had been sitting around in the store for quite a few years and nobody bought them. They had the power amp, preamp, tuner, and CD player. And they had them all, they were selling them as a set for $1,500, which, if you know anything at all about this series of equipment, that's a bargain price. So I snatched them up. Unfortunately, I no longer have the preamp, power amp, or CD player. The power amp, I believe I traded in on something else. The preamp I sold, and the CD player I traded in. However, I do regret selling or trading in the power amp. I wish I would have kept it because it's really a very excellent power amp. I don't even remember what I traded it in on. Anyway, I had completely forgotten about that I had this tuner until one day last year. I was up in my attic and I just happened to start moving some stuff around and I happened to find this tuner sitting in there. And this tuner had been sitting there. This is an unheated, actually not technically an attic, it's actually an unheated room or unfinished room above my garage. It had been sitting in there for several years, exposed to the cold of winter and high temperatures in summer and so forth. And I was really skeptical as if it would actually still work. So I brought it down and hooked it up to my system, and I found out that it worked perfectly even after this basically abuse is what I would call it. So I did a little research into the tuner and tried to remember, what was said about it and so forth. And according to this site I found about vintage stereo tuners, this is pretty much one of the best tuners for the money it was ever available. It's really highly regarded, and it's a really great sounding tuner. It especially has pretty good bass response, I find. Now, this Pioneer Elite series, if you notice, they had the glossy piano type black finish on the front. They had the wood side panels. It was some really great looking equipment. And I believe this tuner sold in 1987 for about $600. What's nice about it is it's got the digital display. It's got a signal strength level meter on it, and it has what Pioneer calls their active real-time tracing system. What this does is that it adjusts the IF bandwidth to the demands of the signal, and it adjusts the frequency to the demands of the signal, so it kind of keeps it locked in for best performance under every type of condition. And I find that this is a very effective system. I get very good sound and very low noise and distortion when I listen to my favorite station, and I'm pretty happy with it. I've got some specifications for you I can read off here. Signal to noise ratio in mono 95 dB, stereo 87 dB, THD at 80 dB, 100 hertz, in mono 0.015%, and stereo 0.02% at 1 kilohertz. It's 0.009% mono, 0.02% stereo. Selectivity 85 dB at 400 kilohertz. IF rejection ratio 100 dB. AM suppression 70 dB. These are actually very good specifications for a tuner, and for a used piece like this, you probably were going to be paying about, I would say, about $150 to about $220. I know there's one on a site in Germany, they want over $600 for it, which is, I mean, they're way super overpriced there. I wouldn't pay that much, but I would say if you're paying, say, between $150 and $300, I think you're getting a pretty good deal for one in excellent working and visual condition. So if you're looking for a quality FM tuner, good sounding, if you like the Pioneer Elite series and you like how they look, I would recommend this tuner. These show up on eBay every once in a while. They show up on AudioGone. If you like the Elite series, they also have the M90 and M91 power amps, which are very excellent sounding and really cool looking power amps. And they have the C90 and C91 AV preamps, which are really nice preamps too. So if you find those, I think they're worth looking into. If you like these vintage audio reviews, let me know. I don't have a lot more vintage stuff to review, but I do have a few pieces that I could tell you about. And if you have any experience with 80s and 90s vintage equipment that you want to talk about, feel free to comment about it. And as usual, comment, rate, and subscribe. And thanks for watching my review.